Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Our story begins tonight with our special guest, New York Times bestselling author and philanthropist, Daphna Zima. Daphna is a filmmaker, founder of a music label, director, and she is nationally and internationally known in the halls of power of Washington, D.C. for her creative and unusually successful works on behalf of saving abandoned children. She is an author here talking about her bestseller, The Gray Zone. A portion of tonight's show is also devoted to her children's foundation, Children Uniting Nations. So our musical guest tonight is Kris Allen with his song, Best Friends, and Why Have They Taken God Away? So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Daphna. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Bryan. It's so wonderful to be on your show, and thank you for being interested in not only the book, but the issues that surround the book.
Well, to be honest with you, it's a complete honor for me. I'm a little stepping back. I'm a little step back just for getting a chance to talk with you because of the work that you're doing. Your book, The Gray Zone, I'm really excited because your book means so much to so many people. I just got it last night, and I stayed up all night reading it. I have to say, I literally couldn't put it down. The more I read, the more I got wrapped up into the story. It's so heart-touching.
Thank you so much. I mean, so many people tell me that they can't put it down, and I consider that so flattering and, so meaningful because literally it's my first novel. And when you write a novel, you really don't know how people perceive it. And, you want so much to give of yourself to your readers and to make them feel, that they can join your journey. And it's a challenge because you have to be the voyeur and the reader as well as the writer. And that was an incredible discipline for me to, kind of walk through and accept the challenge and try to, express myself in such a way that people would feel it. And I'm thrilled when you said that to me. It just made me feel that, that I can actually achieve connecting with my readers, and that means everything.
Well, I'm really surprised you said that's your first book because it's so well written. You did an amazing job on it. Before we get into the specifics of the characters, can you tell us a high-level overview about it before we get into the characters and specifics and a little bit about yourself, maybe that I didn't mention in terms of who you are?
Yes. I actually have written screenplays before, and so the interesting difference in the discipline of writing a screenplay versus writing a novel is that in a screenplay, the characters actually talk, but you never hit the issue on the head, and you never can tell what the characters are thinking. You just have to understand from their actions and their dialogue what they're feeling. And so the discipline is the discipline of economy because you have to talk in such a way that the audience senses and feels what kind of a journey your characters are on and feel with them as they are confronting obstacles and conflicts. In my book, I had the luxury of jumping into a different discipline, which is you are able to actually walk with your characters and live vicariously through them and let your reader come into the mind of the characters and be able to understand what the character is thinking as well as what the character is feeling. But that's a different challenge because now the challenge is to make sure that you are not overstretching, that you're really being precise, that you are allowing your reader in, and that your reader needs to become a part of your characters. And so that was a challenge that I really enjoyed because I was able to describe the environments and the feelings and the thoughts of my character so that I would make the reader feel a part of it. And I really enjoyed writing a different discipline, because it kind of allowed me the broad strokes. It's like painting an oil painting versus a charcoal sort of drawing, And in a film, you kind of do the charcoal drawing, and then you allow your art director and your director and everybody else to add in the colors and the depth. And here you have to be responsible for it all.
Well, I have to admit, I really got into the characters, and during reading it, the excitement from whether it was the main character or the supporting roles of the book would accelerate my heart, would get my emotions stirring as I was in my mind thinking and looking and being in the car with them or running down the halls with them or something like that. But it was really connecting with them, which is hard for me to do for a book, just to be honest with you. But this one really pulled me in. Now, the high-level overview of the book itself is a tremendous story because it affects so many different things that's going on in this world today with so many people. Can you explain from a high-level aspect about what you were trying to reach with the book?
Well, the challenge, for me was writing the book because the point that I was trying to, sort of embark on is our society is suffering greatly. Our children are suffering. And, I could have written a nonfiction book and nobody would read it. So the challenge was to take real characters that I have met and sort of like each character was a compilation of real characters and allow the reader to identify with my characters and then face the issues that are ailing our children today together with my characters. So therefore, I felt that, my readers and the audiences would understand more about what is happening to our children. And, it was a very gruesome reality that I had to make exciting and adventurous. Because in reality, 60% of all of our children are drugged with Adderall and Ritalin. ADD and ADHD is given permission for drugging. Many of our families across the country are severely impacted by alcohol and drugs, and children are living now in abused situation. Neglect and abuse is so prevalent. And so they are removed from their home for no fault of their own, and then they are stuck in a system which is an unforgiving system. And at best, it's a revolving door of strangers, and everybody in their lives is paid to be there. And the key was to see it from Kelly Jensen's point of view, because here's a little girl. She's 6 years old when her mother is murdered and the father is wrongfully convicted for the crime. And she's thrown into the foster care system where she's exposed to abuse and neglect and sex trafficking. But she's resilient, which most of our kids are. She's so resilient that she's able to learn how, by running away all the time, how to tap into people's hearts and how to understand that she can maneuver through life and that she can find a path to be able to survive. And, through that, as she runs away, she becomes more and more successful and more of a chameleon. And she escapes, because she knows that escaping the system is her only chance for survival. And so, unfortunately, she encounters a man who she believes is her savior, but in fact, he captures her and uses her as a sex slave. And then she ends up having 2 kids with him. But yet, in spite of it all, she escapes. And she learns that she has talents. And she creates a world whereby her talents are her foundation of growth. And through that, she finds not only survival, but life. And at the end of it all, she meets a man who's a defense attorney, and he's literally a media litigator. And because their minds are so similar, but they are two sides of the same coin, they're able to take on the justice system, the political system, and ultimately they win in the gray zone, which is the reason for the name of the book, because the gray zone is a part of justice in the justice world, which occurs behind closed doors, because that's really where it occurs. It doesn't occur often in front of a judge. And so at the end, she wins. And, I'm not going to tell their readers how, because they should really find out, but it's quite phenomenal how masterful her mind has become through all of these tribes and tribulations that she has gone through.
I completely agree. Her skill set, just from reading the book, there's a couple of things that I picked up from. One of them that you mentioned was her chameleon skills to adapt and overcome the situation, or to become somebody that she needed to be during that time frame, and her street smart skills that she did, all while, I assume this is part of the reasoning for the book, but from what I picked up on it, protecting her own children to make sure her own children doesn't fall into the snares and the traps and the problems that she had growing up to be taken away. And so from her life growing up into the system, she was doing a lot of this, or majority of it, if not all of it, in order to help protect her own kids, protect her life, protect her kids moving forward. And I thought
that was a necessity, Brian, because what I wanted to show the audience and the readers is that even if a mother is put under severe trauma, the reality is that she can somehow make her children a priority. And she has, because it's not so much what the tools that are given to us and we say, oh, we can't cope or whatever. What she does is she creates the tools to be able to be a good mother. And that's what's important. I wanted to show how she can go on the road and yet she can make her children a priority because she taps into their own sensibility.
Well, she gets wrapped up into this as the story progresses throughout her life, and then she it really comes into play to I guess one of the plots of the story is about whenever her boyfriend is killed, and his famous attorney friend gets on the case and starts looking at it in order to the defense attorney and starts researching to find out why he was killed or how he was killed or who killed him, and that's how the famous attorney friend Jake Brooks meets Kelly. And with the stories that they go through in terms of trying to save Kelly and improve Kelly while finding out the whole part of this system, the huge illness that's part of our society today with, children in foster homes and in and out of care, consistent care, what I thought was brilliant in the book, because you wouldn't necessarily
it was really a Yeah, thank you, Brian. It was really a challenge because what I wanted to show also was, here's a politician who's really being groomed to ultimately become president.
Right.
And his focus is, and he learns from her, that really the future is in the hands of our children who are being overlooked and invisible to the reality that they are our future. So a part of what the challenge was, how do you show your readers that, politicians can get lost in the political maneuvering to the point where they can actually kill our future? The symbolic reality of the politician being killed was not necessarily, the murder was symbolic because it was about killing the vision. I think, what I was thinking about as I was reading that was John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy and killing the dream. And, how does she take it on and takes the torch on and keeps the dream alive, because she not only does she know what it's like to be discarded, abused, invisible, and fight against it, against all odds, to be recognized, to be encountered, But she also has to continue the dreams for all the other children like herself.
Exactly. And you mentioned...
And so that
Go
was
ahead.
the heroic part of her.
I love that word heroic because it fits what she does. She's trying to get out of that life, and in the very last moment to where she's trying to leave and become better for her and for her children, she gets thrown into this world that where all this turmoil starts happening more and more and more, and then her fight, her resilientness really comes out, and she has to move forward with her plan and everything else to protect herself, even against from her husband at the time, who was a very wealthy person in society, and trying to fight against him. And it's just well written, well put together.
Well, the Todd Gillis character, which is the husband who held her as a sex slave, his character was reflective of many of our corporate heads, where they lose all morality and because of their narcissism, and they don't see anything wrong with actually using somebody's life, somebody's body, somebody's everything for the sake of their own self-serving needs. And that's where he comes from, and he doesn't quite understand that he has crossed the line. That's why when Jake Brooks makes him look at himself through his picture with his father, he can't tolerate it. Yeah, he can't tolerate it because he sees that he can never be that little boy again who had yearnings and feelings. He's shut off. And so that was the message that I wanted the reader to walk away with. How is narcissism born, and how far it can go into becoming, a subtle sense of violence, And at the same time, I had to have a counterpart to her in Jake Brooks, who's a guy who's been educated in Harvard. He's now a defense attorney. He's recognized, he's cherished, and has become a celebrity. And yet, his heart is vacuous, and he's desperately needing to find purpose in his life because the justice system has let him down, and he can no longer associate his heart with the lack of morality and the lack of justice. And so he finds in her a reason to fight for his own honor, for his own integrity, because when he graduated from high school in Harvard, he was an idealist, he was a dreamer, he was a fighter. And she gives him back the fight, and that's the sexual and sensual and mental sensuality that is developed between the two characters. That's why the chemistry jumps off the page.
Oh, yes.
Agreed. Yeah, because I wanted for people to understand that sexuality begins in the mind and in the character and in the journey in life. And quite frankly, I was going through a divorce at the time, a horrible divorce, and I recognized that the next relationship that I want to be in has to be something that's so meaningful and so connective that I wanted it to begin in the challenges of learning from one another in the minds. And so I created the kind of relationship and sexuality that I was dreaming about.
The story does have an extremely strong romantic feel to it, a very strong love, just like you mentioned, a sexuality to it that pulls you in between those two characters, between how Kelly starts off and then where she wraps up into Jake Brooks, and the whole fight and the struggle there. I even like the fact you just mentioned one of the most profound parts of the story that I connected with was whenever he looked at the picture of him and his father. That was an amazing, small part of the story, but very, very potent.
Well, yeah, and also her picture in her boyfriend's office, and I put it, in such a way that she was next to the images of stars from the 40s, and those movements, that time where morality and glamour was more meaningful because it was attached to characters and it was attached to personalities. And I did it purposely because we have gotten into this place in our media where it's reality shows, and there's not enough depth to our, to the people that we look up to. And I wanted all my readers to understand that she's something else, that she's somebody you can look up to and you can appreciate her beauty, because her beauty comes from her inner self, but also her outer beauty she uses as a tool to connect in a way not just of survival, but a way of understanding and tapping into people's souls.
I definitely agree. Because you can tell in the story that she's a very beautiful woman, but from the stuff that I was getting out of it, it was much more deeper than that. She was just like you said, she's a very beautiful woman on the inside, and that's what really brought her character out. Her resilientness, her chameleonness, her using her skills, for the love that she was trying to get away from, and for the love that she was trying to capture again, in the whole fight of the story. Some of this book talks about some numbers. So, or rather just the size of it all. How much of this book is based on factual numbers? Because some parts
all the numbers are factual. They were all researched, and they're all numbers that are published and official. So, yes, I didn't want to mislead my readers, because I was trying to make my readers aware of what is going on in our world for our children. So it was very important for me to be accurate.
And you said the characters, some of them were based on real people?
All of them. Jake Brooks is actually based on a very famous defense attorney, Danny Davis. And Kelly is based on a compilation of girls that I know from the foster care system. Brian, I have to go.
Oh,
they're
okay.
calling me.
Okay.
But yes, so I'm so sorry.
It's
enough, or should we do it again?
Well, I'd love to have you back on. I know you do have another book coming out. And I think it's called The Final Punch that you're working on. You have a book tour that's going on.
Actually, the one I'm coming up with next is How to Divorce a Billionaire. It's a dramedy. The Final Punch will be the book after that.
Okay. Well, I'd like to give just a quick shout out for the other organizations that you're working with, Children United.
Oh, yes. I want everybody to go online or call at www.childrenunitingnations.org. Uniting is with an ING, childrenunitingnations.org. We help a lot of children that have been sex trafficked, foster children, abused children, neglected children, and we need your help. So please donate, go online, help us, become a mentor, but start contributing to the future of our children.
Agreed. And also, everybody can pick up this book. It's called The Gray Zone, and you can find it at Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Amazon, and proceeds for this money goes to helping out those organizations and the children, which I think is amazing. That you can find her at Facebook. Her website is DaphnaEdwardsZyman.com. She's on Twitter, and also childrenunitednations.org.
childrenunitingnations.org. And people can go on my site, DaphnaEdwardsZyman.com.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. You are wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Most know I enjoy working with and helping kids in our community through coaching football with my own nonprofit organization, Computer for Kids, where I refurbish donated computers and return them back to needy families with children in school. Well, Daphna is the founder and chairperson of Children Uniting Nations. It's a 501c3 charity that provides foster children with devoted, non-paid mentors. Children Uniting Nations is a proactive nonprofit organization created to bring attention to the plight of at-risk and foster youth. Their goal is to reach as many children in out-of-home care by offering role model support guidance, a sense of community, and promoting the importance of an education. They match participants with highly trained mentors that are compassionate, steadfast, and have an unconditional desire to give themselves in order to make a positive difference in the lives of our most vulnerable children. Pioneered in Los Angeles in 1999 by the founder and chair, Daphna Zima, their mission is to create a loving, tolerant, and capable world of citizens that they are dedicated to help children find their way to fulfill their dreams. Sadly, children are the main victims of adult difficulties, whether it's financial or political problems, war, lack of education, malnutrition, or carelessness. We must break the cycle and help every child find a way out of cruelty, neglect, and anger, and strengthen our leaders of the next generations. We have the ability to make the change now and create compassion and loving children for the future. As they say, mentor, advocate, donate, and join. Please enjoy these videos from their website on www.childrenunitingnations.org.
Greetings to the business community and entertainment leaders who've gathered together this evening for the Children Uniting Nations 2006 Awards celebration. Although I cannot personally attend tonight's festivities, I'm delighted I have this opportunity to share my gratitude for your continued efforts on behalf of at-risk youth across our nation. We're lucky to have organizations like Children Uniting Nations leading the way to tackle problems with the foster care system. I want to applaud my friend Daphna and everyone there tonight for your hard work and commitment to foster children across America. Children Uniting Nations programs such as M-Play illustrate the tremendous power of community volunteerism. The success of this mentorship program shows that an individual can still make an impact, whether it's through tutoring a disadvantaged student or mentoring someone who never had a role model. By recruiting and training volunteers, Children Uniting Nations matches foster kids with mentors who can provide the friendship and academic guidance necessary to keep their dreams and aspirations alive. We must continue to encourage our friends and neighbors to become involved in our communities. Studies show that mentoring increases a student's likelihood to stay in school, seek a college degree and employment, and remain active in his or her own community. And programs like M-Play are a formidable part of boosting foster children's opportunities. But private sector initiatives are just one piece of the puzzle. We need to find a way to increase state accountability in providing the 523,000 American children in foster care today with a proper education. I've committed myself to this issue for more than 30 years. In the last decade, I've pushed for legislation that addresses the urgent needs of our most at-risk youth, who due to the foster care system bureaucracy often get sidelined and set back. As First Lady, I worked with Congress to establish the Adoption Incentives Program, which has led to an 85% increase in the number of children adopted out of foster care. I was also proud to champion the Foster Care Independence Act of 1999, which made tremendous strides in helping these young people. And in the Senate, I continue to work to improve our child welfare system by supporting legislation that will increase the number of children who are adopted out of foster care, increase the adoption tax credit, and help foster children keep track of their medical and education records. And on a personal note, I've been fortunate to have several foster youths as interns in my Senate office. They've made tremendous contributions, and I look forward to welcoming more in the future. With public and private initiatives working together, we can continue to serve the interests of kids across the country who need it the most. Thank you for all you've done and continue to do for our children who are most vulnerable. Children Uniting Nations is making life better for America's foster youth, and I am greatly appreciative of all of your efforts. Thank you, and God bless you.
If you care, if you want to do something, then help a foster child take this young child, this young boy, this young girl into your home for a day and just give back to your community.
Each new hour holds new chances for new beginnings. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change.
mentoring program is really the quickest way to reach these children and to start changing their life.
Is this a beautiful day? The sun is shining, the sky is blue, but what makes this a beautiful day is this rainbow of happy faces of kids who are here. This is the beginning of something special, of something lasting and important. Because today we're saying to people of Los Angeles that it's up to you to be involved in the lives of all of these kids.
Children Uniting Nations is sponsoring Day of the Child to help special needs children who are the most needy children in the child welfare system. These children come from foster homes, residential tax facilities, and homeless shelters. This event is designed to bring awareness and support to the needs of the children who, by no fault of their own, are living out of home care. The Day of the Child is the community's way of letting these children know that someone cares. Mentored children are more likely to find ways of surviving within the community without turning to crime, drugs, or gangs. This simple gesture of caring often is the ray of hope the child needs to hold on to. I want to congratulate you all and thank all of the families who are here to mentor at-risk children who are our honored guests today. Your loving compassion is the cure for this urgent need. Thank you. God bless.
Please welcome our musical guest, Kris Allen, with his endearing song, Best Friend.
If I gave to you a moment of truth, would you wrap your arms around me and hold on to me? Would you be my best friend? It's feelings like this from deep in my soul. I can't keep going on and holding these feelings inside. Would you be my best friend? I can't go on holding these feelings inside, and I can't go on holding these feelings inside. Would you be my best friend? Somewhere in this world, their hearts beat as one. If you wrap your arms around me and hold on to me, I'll be your best friend. I promise you, girl, from deep in my heart, that I'll always love you from here to eternity. My best friend. Oh, I can't go on holding these feelings inside, and I can't go on holding these feelings inside, and I can't go on holding these feelings inside. My best friend. You're my best friend.
Now you're probably wondering on how you can help. Support from individuals like yourself will help fulfill the need for our challenge foster and at-risk youth to have a constant, responsible, caring adult in their lives, which is a mentor. Your donation and or sponsorship will help them to recruit, pre-screen, and match mentors with children in communities. Furthermore, your support will help Children Uniting Nations advocate on a national level for improved educational instructions and health care for our children living in and out of home care. They are sincerely grateful for your efforts and consider all contributions generous and greatly cherished. Children Uniting Nations budgets are carefully scrutinized and audited. Your financial support takes them from one step closer towards their goal to positively impacting the lives of our youth today and tomorrow. And here's Kris Allen again with a song, Why Have They Taken God Away?
Dark gray skies drove over me, eyes weary I cannot see. Tell me what is going on inside our world today. Children dying on the street, no clean clothes or shoes on their feet. Why can't we pray in school today? Why have they taken God away? Na, 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 instead of having war your way, why not let the children play? Peace in God in our family tree, this is how we wanna be. Why can't we pray in school today? Why have they taken God away? Na, 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 so you want to take God away from our schools. No more praying and breaking the rules. Children are dying, parents are crying. Politicians don't care, they aren't even trying. So you think you got it rough living in the hood. You think you tasted poverty, I wish you could. Mama, hear your newborn baby cry to give him birth. Let him walk upon this land, give him peace on earth. Why you want to take God away? 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 Why you want to take God away?
And now, a word from our sponsors.
At Taylor Gifts, we do customized monogramming and embroidery. We can monogram anything from a simple one name on a bib for a baby to a customized logo on a company shirt. We can make gifts for your wedding entourage and gifts for your friends. Label your children's items for school and put names on jerseys for sports. If you have items of your own you want them monogrammed and embroidered, we can do that. Tailor Gifts are sewn with high-quality thread on a professional embroidery machine. So go to the website www.tailorgifts.net, call 251-391-4354, email sales@tailorgifts.net, visit us at ETSY, and Facebook us. We are ready for your orders.
Welcome to WROM, Realms of Music Radio and Social Network.
We support independent artists and talk shows, hosting a large discussion forum and an artist gallery. We also have a large social network combining the best of Facebook and MySpace into one. So make sure you submit your music to us and create a profile to promote yourself today. That's realmsofmusic.com, the best of music radio. The Ghost Tales Television Network, GTN. GTN is designed to give the paranormal TV and filmmaking community the opportunity to showcase their talents and creations. If you believe you have what it takes to create your very own TV show and or short film and you would like the opportunity to showcase your creations, you may contact us at ghosttalestv@gmail.com or call 901-377-7166 for more details. Make sure you visit ghosttalestv.com. GTN, America's Paranormal Superstation.
Thank you for listening to the show. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next time when another story begins. Until then, love and light.